Hello there, lens legends. Welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show, where we bravely head into the business side of photography. I'm your host, Jim Landers, your guide on the business side. And it's my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. This show is for photographers who feel they've got something to learn on the business side. So if that's you, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab and Amanda and her wonderful team, oh man, if you haven't worked with Digital Pro Lab yet, you are missing out. These guys are career people. They love what they do, and they make it so much easier and better and quicker and easier for you as a photographer that you're just going to fall in love with working with Digital Pro Lab. And if you haven't printed already, you're going to thoroughly enjoy the experience. Go to digitalprolab.com and see the difference that Digital Pro Lab can make for you. digitalprolab.com. And of course, this show is sponsored by Landers Photography School, which is my school, where I teach the photography side as well as the business side, which I'm sure comes as no surprise to you. We have many classes on both sides. It is heavy on the business side because I want you to make a great living doing what it is you love doing. And it's a whole lot easier than you think. If you're struggling, which 90% of photographers are, so I know I'm talking to you, it's time to reach out to me, Jim Landers at Landers Photography School. Just reach out to my email. It's quick and easy, jim@landersphotoschool.com, jim@landersphotoschool.com. Now, I want to encourage you to make comments and ask questions throughout this discussion. And I want you to go to the comment section right now and enter in hashtag live. Hashtag live. Comment hashtag live for me right now. That tells me you're watching us live today on either Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. So, and I know you're here. Now, by the way, for those who are watching on some of those that I just mentioned, because we're simulcast to multiple places, not all of them will show up in my live feed, but I'll be able to see them when I go visit those after the show. So please enter in hashtag live in the comments, and then comment as you go throughout the show on things that cross your mind, different experiences that you've had, any questions that you have, and I will get back to them. Now, for those who are watching the replay, enter in hashtag replay. All right, so I want to request something of you. I'm giving you my time. I'm going to ask for a second of yours. I want you to click the share button. Let other people know that this show exists. This is beneficial to all concerned. It uplifts the entire photography community. So be a part of uplifting the entire photography community by doing something as simple as hitting the share button and letting other people know that this show exists. Now, you may not see it every day, but it is common to see a post on social media requesting a photographer. You've likely noticed that the number of photographers who respond is often overwhelming to the requester. And it's likely they won't even see the response because there are so many. And from their point of view, most responses tend to look pretty much the same. I'm going to show you an example of that here in just a little bit. So I want to make a quick analogy. Responding to a social media request for a photographer. Now, I just call it an RFP. Yes, it does mean request for proposal, but there's a lot of things I change into photography terms. Like ISO to me means image sensor sensitivity option instead of International Standards Organization. Or, well, there's a bunch that I have. But in this instance, an RFP is a request for a photographer, something that you see regularly on photography groups and other places, sometimes someone's own individual page. But I say that an RFP is responding to an RFP is kind of like buying a lottery ticket. Yes, by responding, you've given yourself potential to get noticed. But what are the odds that you will? Well, relying solely on RFPs isn't a viable marketing strategy. It can be a valuable addition to a successful marketing plan. With the strategies that I'm about to share with you, your chances of winning the RFP lottery will significantly increase. Now, here's the thing. Your marketing plan should be so strong that you do not have to do a single RFP, and you certainly wouldn't have to rely on them. Responding to RFPs is a reactive tactic. Nothing wrong with that. But your primary source of leads in your marketing plan should be an active lead generation system that's automated, that brings in a steady flow of qualified leads. That's where you should be. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't respond to RFPs. But when you do respond, especially when you're starting out or during other phases of your business, you should ensure that your reply aligns with your brand and that it showcases your professionalism and highlights your unique personality. This approach not only helps you stand out, but also attracts clients who are truly going to appreciate your work and value you. Don't you want to work with people like that? Yeah. I know I do, and I assume that you do too. By the way, if you haven't already, please comment #live. Now, this lesson is about how to stand out in that crowd of replies and get noticed to the point where they act on your response. So you vastly increase your odds of getting booked. We're going to talk about it from their point of view. I'll share with you why it's important to infuse your personality into your responses, not just saying I'm available or I can do it or I'm interested. We'll also talk about how to create templates for your responses that subtly filter out for your ideal clients. We want our ideal clients. We don't want to attract those who don't fall into that category. We'll include where to use or to utilize automation and the ethical considerations of reaching out directly when the requester has included their contact information in their profile, but not in their post. We'll talk about that as well. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, would you go over to the comments and type in 2 words? I'm ready. Just those 2 words. I'm ready. If this sounds interesting to you. And if you haven't already, please enter in #live, letting me know that you are here and watching right now. Chapter 1. Understanding the requester's perspective. Let's start by putting ourselves in the shoes of the requester. When someone posts on social media seeking a photographer, several key motivations and expectations are coming into play. Why did they choose to post on social media looking for a photographer? They could have used Google or some other search engine. Some prefer to reach out directly to their friends for recommendations. There are directories that they could have searched through. PPA, or Professional Photographers of America, has a directory, but they chose to post on social media. Understanding their reasons and their expectations is key to crafting a response that stands out specifically to them. Now, let's talk about why they might choose social media. It could be because they're looking for community recommendations. They value their social media friends or the group or community's opinions over advertisements or search engine results. Maybe they want quick responses. Social media platforms offer real-time interaction with potentially quick responses. Sure, Google is quick at giving you a response, but there's no interaction there. And you have to sort through a bunch of ads, and the information's kind of hit or miss with search engines. Maybe they want a variety of options. Social media exposes requesters to a wide variety of photographers with diverse styles, with diverse specializations, allowing them to explore the options. It enables them to compare different portfolios, pricing, approaches, helping them to make an informed decision. Maybe they like that engagement. They appreciate the opportunity to engage directly with photographers, to ask them a question or to get additional information right there in their post. This interaction helps them gauge the photographer's personality, gauge their responsiveness, and their professionalism. And it may be simply just a reduction of effort. It's convenient, and the information is consolidated. Responses often provide links to portfolios, websites, pricing, contact information, consolidating all the necessary details in one place from people who are saying, I am here, I do this. Maybe it's validation. Maybe they've seen other people make social media requests for different businesses. Seeing multiple responses can validate the requester's choice to use social media, reinforcing their belief that this is an effective method for finding a quality photographer. Or maybe it's social proof, likes, comments, recommendations from other community members. That helps to influence their decision. And the real-time feedback. Requesters can ask follow-up questions and receive real-time feedback, facilitating an interactive selection process. Now, we should talk about what it is they experience once they have posted. So they've posted this call for a photographer on social media. Their goal is taking on a new dimension as a result. They're often overwhelmed by the sheer number of replies. I mean, I have seen, and I assume you have too, I've seen posts requesting photographers that have 20, 30, 40, but the majority of them have had 50 plus. And I have seen some that were well up into the hundreds. I think 170 is one of the larger ones that I've ever seen. Do you really think you're going to get noticed if your number even 23? And yet 125 have put their name into the hat of the RFP lottery. Well, this abundance of options can lead to decision fatigue, where the requester may struggle to evaluate each response properly. I have seen some even close their posts because they know that they'll never get through all the responses that they have. I mean, you've probably seen this too, and you're seeing on my screen right now. You may not be able to read the name because I blurred it, but it says turned off commenting for this post. Why would they do that? Because this person had already received 55, and they knew they were not going to go through that number. It was overwhelming. So this person cut it off and said, I've had enough. They were very gracious. They posted and saying, I appreciate all the responses. This is great. I didn't expect so many, but I have way more than I need to be able to make a good decision. And I'm going to cut off the request. Now you may think, well, everybody should do that. Yeah, maybe so, but not everybody knows that's an option. We don't all have the same knowledge in this noggin. Some of us have more, some of us have less. And that's just how life is. Some of them do, some of them don't. But most of the time when they don't, it's probably because they either already found what they needed and have moved on, or they forgot that it was an option, or they didn't ever know that it was an option. One advantage for the requester is that most photographers respond in the same general way. Most photographers respond with a generic message like, I'd love to help. Or, as you see in this example right here, I'd love to be considered. Yeah, there's 4 in a row saying the same thing. Photographers, come on. Aren't you supposed to be creative? Saying the same thing that everyone else does exactly what you say, at least when you're talking to me, that you don't want to do. And that's look like you're part of the crowd. You want to stand out from the crowd. And yet your responses clearly, as in this example, prove that you haven't put 2 thoughts into this. You've taken the time. That's great. Now you have a lottery ticket. But you're not going to get noticed. You're going to get skimmed over because you look like everybody else. Stop responding like everyone else does. Hopefully I've blurred those names enough because I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm trying to improve your situation. So if a requester has skimmed over you effectively wasted your time. Now, let's reverse the roles. Let's say you're the one who's made the request. What if this was you? If you posted a request, are you trying, is your goal to gather as many responses as possible? Or would you prefer to have a few quality options to choose from? I mean, the bottom line is is that you want to make a confident decision, right? Requesters are looking for photographers whose style and approach match what they want. They develop their own criteria for filtering responses such as relevance to their request, clarity of communication, perceived professionalism, other things. For the requesters that gave some specifics, they appreciate it when photographers go beyond the generic and engage with their specific request, showing that they've read and understood the request. Now you may think shorter is better. Shorter might be better right at first, because as it evolves, it actually changes what it is that you need to do. For instance, right at the beginning, a short message might actually be just fine. Perfect. But if you're number 3 through 10, then you're going to have to do just a little bit more. I'd say do a little bit more anyway, but in order to be the very first person who responds, speed does play a role. So get it out there as quickly as possible. Yeah, I hear you. I see that. It makes sense. However, if there's 3 or 4 already sitting there, make it more personalized. React to the specifics in their request. Now, let's say there's already 25 there. 25 photographers have responded. What do we need to do then? Well, I'd say even still, go ahead and respond. But you're going to need to do a little bit more. Now, this is something I recommend no matter what placement you are. But I'm going to get into that here in just a moment. Now, if you feel this is helping, will you give me an "it's helping" in the comments? Just go over to the comments right now and enter in "it's helping." Let me know that what you're hearing right now today is beneficial and benefiting you. You're also welcome to, of course, make any comments that you want to make, any questions. It's perfect time, perfect place to do that. Now, a quick note about posting or advertising what you do in a photography group. This is a side note. This isn't directly related to what we're talking about today, but it does play a role because requesters post their photography needs on various platforms. Some do it just once, some do it multiple times in multiple places, including their personal pages, photography groups, etc. I want you to think about this though. Photography groups are for photographers. And it's because the group leaders want to see their members succeed that they are likely to welcome potential clients to post requests. Think about this. These clients come for one purpose, and they don't engage any further with the community. If you were a musician, would you try to get gigs by advertising in musician groups, or would you post in event planning groups? To me, the answer is clear: event planning groups, where potential clients are actively seeking musicians for their events. Photography groups is not where people are actively seeking. They may post once, but they're not looking through the entire everything that's in the comment section or the discussion section of that website, of that group. They're only there for one thing. And once they get that one thing, they're not likely to come back until they need something similar to that again. So don't waste your time advertising to other photographers. Don't post your ad on photographer websites, because that would be like you are a plumber and you are advertising to other plumbers. That's not where you're going to find your target market. When you define your target market, it's very clear. Those are the places where they go. that you should be advertising. All right, enough about that little side note. I want to move on to Chapter 2, crafting responses that cause you to stand out from everyone else. Now, our goal as business owners is to understand the mindset of the requester and craft a response that cuts through the noise of other photographers and grabs their attention. Personalizing your response and showing your personality. It not only helps you get noticed, but also begins building a connection right away. This approach attracts clients who resonate with your style and your values, making your future interactions with them smoother and more enjoyable. Now, another thought about groups. This is a group etiquette comment. Every group has their own set of rules. So before you respond, read those group rules. Some groups do not allow you to respond with certain types of information, such as price. And the reason why they might do that is because they don't want photographers to undercut each other. It's not beneficial to the industry to say, oh, that guy is offering $500. I'm going to purposefully offer $400. And then the next person says, well, I'll offer $300. And the next person $250. And it's just a race to the bottom. That makes no sense. We have to make a profit or we do not stay in business. And your price, if you've done it correctly, unless you're a high volume photographer, but for low volume photographers, which this show is mainly geared towards, if your price is based on what other photographers charge, please reach out to me, because that's wrong. Completely. Couldn't be further from the way that it is correct. Looking at other photographers' prices, I see the benefit to that. I see the curiosity of that. But it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with your prices. So, ensure your responses comply with your specific group or community rules to avoid being flagged or removed. And besides, you must adhere to the group rules or you risk being removed from that group. Now, let me take you through my philosophy here of posting and responding to the requester. So think of your response to the request as your first impression. It's not just about raising your hand and saying that I'm also a member of the crowd of photographers. It's showcasing what you do and presenting who you are. This helps you subtly filter out prospects who may not be the right fit for you. Remember, it's not about booking just any client. Your target market isn't anyone with a pulse. It's about finding and booking the right client. Since you don't know much about the requester from their social media post alone, then there is a risk of attracting individuals who may not align with your values or style, potentially leading to uncomfortable situations down the line. Many photographers respond to group posts with generic replies. You know this. I showed you an example earlier. I might as well show you that again. They're saying, I'd love to help, or I'd love to be considered. But to truly stand out, you need to offer something more personal, and valuable. For instance, if someone is looking for a wedding photographer, instead of saying, I'm available, you could say, hi, Jennifer. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. I specialize in capturing intimate moments and have worked with, and you just named the venue that they said that they were going to be at, or venues similar to yours. How about we set up a call to discuss your vision? Here's a link to my portfolio, and I'm available at, and you can put your contact information. I think it's even better if you put it to you, the link to your scheduler. So I use Calendly, but a lot of CRM programs, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit, also include schedulers. So I highly recommend using those. This response shows that you're attentive, experienced, and eager to learn and understand their needs. If someone is looking for a family portrait photographer, you could say something like, hi, Jennifer, I recently worked with a family at, and you name the place that they mentioned, or you could just say in a beautiful park setting, and captured some wonderful moments. Let's chat about how we can create something special for your family. There's a link to my portfolio, and feel free to reach out to me and you either give your contact information or a link to your scheduler. This personalized approach shows that you've read their request and are genuinely interested in meeting their needs. By framing your responses and strategies in this way, you begin to turn the lottery ticket approach into a more calculated part of a comprehensive marketing strategy. Now, let's talk about the steps that it takes to respond to an RFP, a request for a photographer. My intent with the processes that I'm sharing with you is to be informative and practical, with the goal of providing you lens legends with actionable insights and steps to improve your marketing efforts. So let's break this down into each step of the process. The first is read and understand the request thoroughly. Carefully read and understand that original post, but don't limit yourself to that original post alone, because some requesters will add additional comments and replies that will help you to understand their specific needs, their preferences, and any additional details. So skim through the responses, look through, see if they've responded to anything, see if someone's asked a question that you also would like the answer to. It's going to frustrate that requester if they have to answer the same questions over and over. So don't be the person who asks a question that requester has already answered. The world is not revolving around you. So therefore, read the responses and respond accordingly. This also serves to help you understand what they are replying to. If they've liked or commented on previous replies, identify key details such as the type of session, the location, the date, the style preference, the budget, and any other requirements that they have shared. Now, something that we also want to do is research the requester. Now, again, if you are the first person or one of the first three, the goal is to quickly get something there. Respond quickly. That is the goal at first. But again, if you're number 5, if you're number 10, if you're number 25, if you're number 125, guys, take a little bit more time. Read all the responses. Research the requester. See if that's someone who you want to work with. Guarantee you, we have all worked with people who drain our creative energy. Do you want to draw in, even by accident, any more of those? No. So do your research, do your due diligence. Check the requester's profile if it's public. That way you can gain insights into who they are, their personality, their preferences, and any mutual connections that might help you tailor your response. By the way, I remember only once going to a requester's profile and seeing that she was a big-time complainer. Man, I missed a big one. Because I had that information, I didn't bother to respond. She had post after post after post about complaining about different businesses that she had worked with. Some people are not going to be easily satisfied. Now you may think, well, that's a challenge. That sounds like fun. Okay, good for you. But I like to choose people that I think I'm going to be able to help the most, not frustrate. I'm the right person for some. I'm not the right person for all. You might find when you're looking on their website that your best friend is a close friend of theirs. Mutual connections make a big deal, and Facebook shows mutual connections. So do some other social media. All right, next, craft a personalized and engaging response. Use their name and tag their name. Personalize your response by addressing them by their name. Now, you need to be creating a clickable link to their profile, because this ensures that they receive a notification. So if their name appears as regular text, then just simply add the symbol @ followed by their name, no spaces. That ensures that it's tagged and it's highlighted at that point. Now, even still, sometimes it won't do it, and I don't know why there's an inconsistency there, but almost always it does. And you want to let them know in notifications. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm going to come to that here in just a little bit. I also want you to reference specifics. Mention specific details from the request to show that you've read it thoroughly. Then showcase your unique value. Highlight what it is that sets you apart, whether that's your style, your experience, special offers, any unique selling points that you have, either all the time or temporary that you have. This also helps to ensure that you're attracting your ideal client. I want you to subtly mention aspects that align with your ideal client description. I'll give you an example. I've had the pleasure of working with clients who value attention to detail and a personalized approach. So if that describes you, then that would be appropriate. If it doesn't describe you, you change it to make it your own. Clearly state what you offer and why you're uniquely suited to meet their needs. So you could say, you can view some of my work here and give them a link to your portfolio. If my style resonates with you, let's chat. So you're going to include a call to action. A CTA is what a lot of people just narrow it down to CTA. I want you to prompt them to make the next step. I want them to know for sure what the next step is if they want to work with you. And it's not replying to your reply. It's something else. It could be a phone call, but for me, it's scheduled. They click on my link, a link to my calendar, and they put themselves on my calendar. This could be the next step could be visiting your portfolio. It could be scheduling a call. It could be sending a direct message. What is supposed to happen next must be clear, not at just this point, but all times throughout the process. I'm going to give you another example, and I'm going to make up, just use any name. So I'm going to use Jennifer because I used that before. Hi, Jennifer. That's my favorite thing to photograph. I'd love to photograph your, whatever it is that they asked for, family reunion, specific event at specific location that they mentioned. I specialize in, and then you define what it is that you specialize in, and have recently worked on similar sessions that turned out beautiful. Check out my portfolio link. Check out my portfolio here, giving them a link. And let's connect to discuss how we can create amazing memories together. Feel free to message me directly or call me at phone number. Now, again, I'm just giving you some examples here. You're going to tweak it. You're going to make it your own. You want to create a template for yourself for all these different situations. That's part of your homework. Now, something we want to do, and I'm going to spend quite a bit more time with this later, is engaging beyond your response. But here's what I want you to think about for right now. I want you to like their post. Don't just comment. Like it. Love it. Show engagement by liking their post and responding to any follow-up comments. Because if they respond to you from your response, you want to make sure that happens quickly. You might want to send a direct message also. Follow up with a polite and personalized direct message, reiterating your interest and unique value. I'm going to talk more about that here in just a little bit. You're going to connect personally. If appropriate, suggest a brief phone call or video chat to discuss their needs or ideas in more detail. And you want to showcase your relevant work on your portfolio. Now, not all business models do that. So if yours does, great, share it. Share specific examples of your work that align closely with what they are looking for. It is easier to do this when you specialize, when you have a niche. And if possible, include testimonials from clients who are doing something similar to what it is that they want. You might even offer something extra, considering offering a special incentive like a complimentary consultation, a discount. That's something you may do for your business model. I wouldn't do that for mine, but for some, that's actually a good tool, or some added service so that you're standing out from the competition. And of course, follow up respectfully and as quickly as possible. And if you haven't heard back within a day, send a polite follow-up message to keep the conversation going and show your interest. Most will make a decision quickly. So way too long and you'll likely be too late. Let me give you an example of a response that you may choose to do on a crowded request, one that has a lot of them there. That original post that you're making may say, or their original post that they're saying may say, looking for a photographer for my wedding on September 23rd. Any recommendations? So they've really not shared a whole lot. They shared that it's a wedding. They shared that it's on September 23rd. So you use those. Hi, Jennifer. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. I'm available on September 23rd and would love to photograph your special day. I specialize in candid and emotional wedding photography and have a portfolio that reflects the unique beauty of each celebration. You can view my work here. Give them that link. Let's chat about how we can make your special day unforgettable. Please message me directly or call me at phone number to discuss further, or give them the link to your schedule. And then I do a valediction sometimes on mine. A valediction is just like sincerely or yours truly or best, something like that. That's a valediction. And then your name. Just first name probably, but you can do first and last, especially if there's a lot of others with the same first name that you have. Now, a direct message follow-up, you want to do this pretty soon, maybe just one right after the other. Maybe you have a little gap in there, but I like to do it one right after the other because I wind up doing something an hour from now, 2 hours from now, and I'll forget. So I'll just go straight to their DM, and I post something similar. Hi, Jennifer. I'm Jim, a local wedding photographer based in San Antonio. I saw your post looking for a wedding photographer, and I responded to it. But there were so many responses that I felt I should follow up personally. I have experience photographing beautiful moments in similar settings and would love to discuss your vision for that day. Here's a link to my portfolio, and I'd be happy to schedule a call at your convenience. Use this link to schedule time on my schedule. Looking forward to connecting, Jim. When you do this kind of thing and follow these steps, you significantly increase your chances of standing out, even in a crowded space, turning a seemingly slim opportunity into a viable lead. But you know what? What I've shared with you so far is just the beginning. All right. Before I get to the rest of the story, make sure that you click the like button for me. Let me know that you're liking this stuff, that you're hearing it, that it means something to you. Click that like button. If you love something you hear, click the love button. But also, if you haven't already, go to the comments section and enter in #live. And if you've got any thoughts, comments, questions, enter that in the comments section as well. You can see a lot of you have already done that, so maybe it's time I did a little bit of shout outs to some of you. I won't be able to shout out everybody's name because it'll take too long. But I see, let's see, Victoria and Liz, Robert. I see Brent. I see Lupe. Let's see, Orlando is here. And okay, there's a bunch more. So fantastic. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for entering in #live, letting me know that you're here. You guys rock. I sure do appreciate you. All right, let's move on to the next section, and I'm going to make this one quick. There is more that I probably could share about this one, but I mentioned a little while ago, this is Chapter 3, Ethical Outreach. I mentioned a little while ago to go to their profile and get a little more information about them. In their profile, they may have shared contact information that they didn't share in the post. Phone number, email, other things. So when you're doing your due diligence, you may notice that they included these different things on their public profile that they didn't include in their post. So the question is, do I use that information to reach out to them via email or give them a phone call? As is an appropriate response for many questions, it depends. But The category of this is ethical outreach. And it means that you have to make a judgment call. If it seems appropriate, be sure to handle the situation with care and professionalism. Include a clear call to action, and this could be inviting them to schedule a call or visit your portfolio, or simply reply to their message and make it easy for them to take the next step. But we've got to be transparent. Always be upfront about how you found their details. Now, if someone were to tell you about someone who needed a photographer, you would tell them that Joe Smith told you about them needing a photographer. That would be a really quick into the conversation. One of the first things that you say. This is no different. I want to build trust with them right from the start. And I want to show that I respect their privacy. So, for example, if I'm going to be calling them, I'm going to be saying, "Hey, Jennifer, I came across your request on Facebook on the San Antonio Photography Facebook group. And I noticed that your phone number was on your profile. If you have a moment, I'd love to discuss how and you share what it is that you do relative to her request." Now, again, this is a judgment call. You've got to show respect. You've got to show professionalism. You're keeping your message respectful. That initial contact sets the tone for your potential working relationship, no matter what, but especially now. So ensure your message reflects your professionalism and your respect for their time and their privacy. Now, if you're sending an email, you might write, "Hi, Jennifer, I hope this message finds you well. I saw your request on Facebook," and be specific where you saw it, "and I noticed your email address on your profile. I responded there in the group, but man, so many photographers had responded, so I was concerned that it might be overwhelming for you. And so out of consideration for you and having to go through all those, I wanted to reach out to you directly, because what you want to do is something that really makes my day and makes it so exciting for me to do this kind of work." You be specific. So you can say, "I specialize in candid, natural light photography that captures the true essence of your special day or your family. Here's a portfolio link, and I'd be happy to discuss how it can create beautiful memories with your family," whatever it is that they wanted. "Looking forward to connecting with you." How does that sound? Again, this is called ethical outreach. You have to make a judgment call. There are times when it would be inappropriate to do this. A lot of times a profile doesn't include that information, so it isn't even an option. But what if in doing your due diligence, you find that they're on different platforms and you find the information there? All right. Doing due diligence is something you should be doing. There's nothing wrong with that. What you do with the information, that's where the judgment call comes in. That's where the word ethical outreach, that's what this subject is called, is important. You have to think it through. Sometimes it's appropriate. Sometimes it's not. Let me tell you what definitely is not appropriate. Simply adding them to your database. Until they have requested or responded to you, do not add them to your database. They aren't yours yet, not for your business. There are ethical boundaries, and this applies in all situations. If the requester declines your offer, respect their decision. Don't push any further. Ensure that your outreach methods comply with platform policies and privacy norms, privacy laws. You don't want to get in trouble with the law. If they don't respond at all, give up after a handful of tries. Now, if you're doing the ethical outreach category, I would really limit that to maybe 3 tries. When you're responding directly to the stuff that's right there in their post, that you can easily get to, like responding to the post, their DM, if they have that turned on. Those are easy to do. You can do more than that. If they've included their email, I'd say up to 10 different connections. But letting them know that final time that you're reaching out to them, that you want to visit with them, but you don't want to bug them. So this is going to be my last attempt unless you respond to me. Now, I said earlier I was going to talk about engaging the beyond the response with more detail. Crafting a standout initial response, that was just the beginning. It could cause an immediate response from the requester, but if it doesn't mean that you're done. This is not a one and done type of situation. A prospect may be quick to decide. They may be methodical. They may have posted and then are going to wait a day or two before coming back. They may even completely forget that they even posted the request. Hey, they're just as busy as you. And posting on photographer groups is not something that they do every day. So to truly capture the interest of potential clients and nurture these relationships, you need to engage beyond the first interaction. It's like getting multiple lottery tickets. You're increasing the odds. This involves a thoughtful and structured series of outreach efforts, including follow-up responses, direct message sequences, email sequences, and phone calls. You need to create your own templates for each of these. For a follow-up sequence on their request, you do need to wait for the right moment. So you're going to give the requester a moment to respond to the initial message. You get to decide that amount of time, but if you haven't heard back within a period of time that you decide, maybe that's within a day or two, then you absolutely should be sending a follow-up. Now, it's possible that you are doing more than one in a day, but for instance, on that first day, I would say you're doing two things. You're responding to their message directly, and you're sending them a DM. And maybe the second day, if they've included their email or phone number, then you're reaching out to them that way. You may choose to do it right away. I want you to build a plan for that. You're going to keep it polite. You're going to keep it professional. Your follow-up should be courteous. It should convey genuine interest without seeming pushy. So here's an example. Hi, Jennifer. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to follow up on my previous message regarding your family photography session. I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with you and would love to discuss your vision further. Please let me know if you have any questions or would like to schedule a call, and give them the link. Looking forward to hearing from you. Now, for a DM, a direct message sequence, you're going to be following the social media platforms, and you want to be effective. You want to tailor your approach to the platform's etiquette and the requester's communication style. So your initial DM may you want to greet them by name, of course, and reference their request. You want to provide a brief introduction and link to your portfolio, and suggest the next step. In a follow-up sent the next day or maybe a couple of days later, remind them of your initial message. Highlight a specific reason why you'd be a great fit for their needs. Offer to answer any questions that they may have. And let's say you're doing 3, a final DM, another gentle reminder. You want to express your continued interest. Mention any limited time offers or upcoming availability. Thank them for considering your services and invite them to reach out at their convenience. But just like the final email sequence message, let them know that you don't want to risk being a bother. So this is the last message until they respond. All right. Create a sequence of responses. Now, that's after you create your initial message. And for each type of work that you do, create a message that you can just copy and paste and tweak it to make it your own. And then for each type, so that is response. Are you going to do a follow-up to a response on a post? Maybe you do, but it's probably only just one. Create the template for it. Write ahead of time what you think you're going to say. You're going to tweak it as you go. You're going to get better at this, but have something to begin with. Same thing with the DMs. Maybe you limit that to 3. If they haven't responded at all, maybe they don't check their DMs. Okay. Some do, some don't. So emails, phone calls, create a script. What are you going to say? you're going to do each one of them very similarly, but you're also going to do them differently. So create templates for each one of the different types of responses you're going to do. It's all done at that point. You're just copying and pasting, unless you want to put this stuff on steroids. And that is when you automate the process. And that is chapter 5. But before we do that, do me a favor and go to the comment section real quick and share your experiences with requests and how you've responded and how they have or haven't responded and what's happened as a result. Share your thoughts, share your experiences in the comments section as I move on to chapter 5. Let's see. By the way, if you guys want I create handouts for every single one of these. If you want the handout, reach out to me directly, jim@landersphotoschool.com, or just right here in the comments saying that you would like the handout. I do charge for it because if it takes more of my time, it costs some of your money, right? It seems fair to me. I only charge $10 though, and I send it, and then that's it. I send the handout and a link to the payment page, and if you forget to pay it, I don't follow up. It's not worth it. It's only $10. I'm not really worried about it, but that's how I do it. I just send you the link and I send you the handout, and all you have to do, again, if you want the handout, and it has a whole lot more information that I'm sharing with you because I only have an hour to share it with you. What I have will probably last 2 hours of information. So if you want, and this includes templates, it includes step-by-step guide, it includes what to do on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, every single day. All that's included in the handout. So if you want all that stuff, which is very good stuff, then all you have to do is let me know that you want it. Either a comment saying I'd like to have that, or in an email, jim@landersphotography, or landersphotoschool.com, or jim@portraitprofits.com. Yep. I make it easy. Responding to public requests for photography services on social media is just the beginning. Effective automation helps you maintain engagement and convert inquiries into bookings. Now, there are a lot of CRM programs, client relationship management programs, but the ones that I recommend are the ones that are very specific to photographers. There are a lot of those, and I'm going to give you maybe 8 of them. But before I do that, there's also some social media tracking tools that I want to mention. And the word mention actually is one of those because that's the name of one of the companies. But Hootsuite, Mention, Buffer, and maybe you'd want to use Google Alerts. All right, so those help to track social media so that you can automate the entire process, letting you know when someone makes a comment saying, I'm looking for a photographer. Yeah, it can do that. You don't have to see it with your own eyes to know that it exists, because Hootsuite can do that for you. Now, that's not a cheap program, but considering what it has the ability to do, if you use the tools that are available on it, it's fantastic. Now, Mention and Buffer, fantastic programs. They don't have quite as many options, and they are a little bit different. Buffer's probably the most similar to Hootsuite, but it has fewer options. And Mention is slightly different. Take a look at those 3. See which one might be the best one for you. To automate these different things, you're going to be using the templates that you created. So I mentioned that you have that initial response back in chapter 2, and the follow-ups in chapter 4 that we just talked about. Of course, now we're talking about the automation. You're going to be using those templates in automation. You've already done the work for the automation, making it so much easier to make that happen, make it smooth. here are some CRMs that I want you to consider. Tave. And in my handout, I actually go into detail about what all these are, just giving a short description of them. Sprout Studio. Studio Ninja. By the way, I'm saying them slowly so you can write them down, but I might not be saying them slowly enough. 17 Hats. I'm saying it slowly now. Honeybook. Dubsado. Bloom. And Pixify. So those are the 8 that I am most often going to recommend. Now, you may say, why don't I just recommend one? Well, because my clients are different people with different goals. These are just different tools. It'd be like saying, can you name me the best tool at the tool store? No, there's no such thing as a best tool at a tool store. There may be the best for what you're trying to accomplish, though. Yeah, that's why you have to look into them and find out which one is best for you. They all are fantastic. Whichever one you wind up with is going to be great. So don't let that decision bother you. Choose one and move forward with all you've got. Now, you're going to be adding in these follow-up sequences. And it's going to, once you set it up, it's going to be running on auto mode, on complete auto. But you are going to be needing to have something that is an in-between that causes them to work. And there are a couple of different things that do that. Zapier is one of them. Zapier. Zapier is one of the things that causes you to be able to link some things that aren't linked. So yeah, it takes a little bit of effort, but once you've done this a couple of times, it definitely makes sense. You may need some help with it. You can reach out to me if you need some help, or you can just watch a YouTube video on how to make that happen. But automation, you're gonna love it. You're not gonna love the process at first if you've never done it before, because it does take some effort. But afterwards, it only takes tweaking here and there. So, super easy. Now, in the handout, there is another chapter. Chapter 6, it's on managing social media inquiries from response to scheduling. But there's not enough time to cover that in this show, because this is only a 1-hour show, and I'm looking at the time, and I've already reached that. So I'm moving right now straight into the closing thoughts, and then I'll be sharing with you what the upcoming classes or lessons are right after that. So, closing thoughts. Let's scroll up to that. Give me just a moment while I do that. Ooh, chapter 6 is long. Scroll past it. Yeah. All right. So we're almost done. Just the closing thoughts are left. I want you to take a moment to put in the comments one takeaway you got from this training. I'd love to hear how this has helped you. It makes it so worthwhile for me to hear of your success stories. You could just go to the comment section and do something as simple as, thanks, Jim, this was great. But of course I like that. And of course I like it when you click the like button and click the love button. But I really want to hear a takeaway that you've gotten from this lesson today. Something that you've heard. Here's my closing thoughts. Crafting an eye-catching initial response, well, that's just the beginning of your outreach strategy. While it's important to make a memorable first impression, the real impact is how you continue the conversation. First, make an initial response that stands out. Start with a response that captures attention, that highlights your unique value. This initial interaction sets the stage. Number two, follow up and do it effectively. Your follow-up efforts are key to maintaining momentum. You're going to utilize direct messages or DMs, emails, phone calls to keep that conversation going. You're personalizing each interaction and ensuring timely responses because you're trying to build a stronger connection. Number three, automate strategically. After establishing your response and follow-up framework, implement automation to manage and scale your efforts. Automation helps maintain consistency and organization while freeing up time for more personalized interactions. I want you to share your thoughts and questions in the comments. By applying these strategies, you'll transform the RFP, request for photographer, the RFP lottery, into a more calculated approach, increasing your chances of attracting valuable leads. If you found these insights helpful, I encourage you to put them into action. Reflect on your current responses and see where you can infuse more personalization and value. And if you're ready to take your marketing efforts to the next level, well, maybe it's time you reach out to me for some classes or maybe some coaching. And one more thing, I encourage you to share your results with me. I'd love to hear your success stories and any new tactics that you've discovered along the way. Anything you want to share with me? Maybe your suggestions will help me improve my lessons. Let's talk about the upcoming shows. Your Profit Show is every single Monday. So here's a look at next week. We're already into August as of next week, August 5th at noon. We're going to be, and I'll put this up on the schedule. There we go. It's called From Limitations to Opportunities. Break free from what's holding you back and unlock the potential in your business and discover practical ways to turn limitations into opportunities for growth. Tune in live, share your thoughts, and let's redefine what's possible. And then a week from that is August 12th. That is the day that we do something special. It's the second Monday of the month, and every single second Monday of each month, so one Monday a month, we move the time to 6:30 in the evening, and we bring on 3 photographers for a panel discussion. This one is called Mindset Shifts. So join us as we explore how shifting your mindset can turn challenges into opportunities. With our panelists, you'll discover the power of a positive outlook and learn actionable strategies to elevate your photography business. Our panelists are Stephanie Saldivar, Amy Wynot, and Jennifer Ritter. That is August 12th. On August 19th at noon, we're doing online resources to help you stay informed. I'm going to reveal the online resources that I use to stay informed in this ever-changing environment. You're going to discover essential websites, YouTube videos, podcasts, and online communities that will help you stay ahead of the curve. Let's elevate your photography business with insider knowledge and expert recommendations. And to round out August, that's on August 26th at noon when we talk about pioneering pixels. This is a history of digital cameras. This is going to be a fun one. That is August 26th at noon. I want to thank you, Lens Legends, for joining me today. I encourage you to like and to share the Portrait Profit Show. And of course, tune in to our next live stream 1 week from today. I want you to keep learning, keep experimenting, keep creating, and keep having fun. Lens Legends, you are making beautiful images, but that's not all you're making. You're making an impact on everyone around you. Some you don't even know. So as we end another show, I hope that the ideas and strategies you've explored today have resonated with you so that you're able to move forward with confidence. Draw strength from the community of passionate photographers who have walked this path before and who are walking with you now, learning and growing with each step. world is waiting for your unique vision and your ability to touch lives through the power of portraiture. Trust in your talent, believe in the impact you can make, and let your light shine brightly. Seize today as an opportunity to let your passion soar and make the world a more beautiful place, one portrait at a time. Thank you all for your time and attention here today, and thank you for the efforts you make each day to be such an amazing portrait photographer. Together, we help achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, my name is Jim Landers, and I'm bringing you the weekly Portrait Profits Show. Until I see you next week, Lens Legends, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep making your mark in the world. I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.